This is WPSL Port St. Lucie, the talk of the Treasure Coast.
It's 11:08 at WPSL 1590, the talk of the Treasure Coast, and you're on Never Alone from Harbor Place with the executive manager, Miss Katrina Beasley. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you, Greg?
Good. How are you?
I am doing well, thank you.
So how are things at Harbor Place?
We are doing well here at Harbor Place. Lots of fun activities and services provided to our senior residents here, but we're having a grand old time. And happy to be here on the show with you today.
Well, see, now that I'm not traveling with the basketball team, maybe I can get in on some of those meals on Saturday.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We would love to have you.
Oh, so you've had so many activities. It's been unreal.
So we do stay pretty busy here, especially when it comes to inviting the community into our community. So being able to host various groups, as well as offer some events that are happening here at the community. We're always wanting to show off the services and the amenities that we have here to offer at Harbor Place.
And I know, hopefully, with COVID way in our rearview mirror, that back room is open for a lot of community organizations as well.
Absolutely. So we have been able to, now that we've relaxed some of those COVID restrictions that we had previously, to be able to open up many of our meeting rooms here to some of the organizations, such as the retired nurses, AARP, and some other folks here in the community that might want to host an event or a seminar or just have some good fun here at the community. So we do have those open. They just need to give us a call. We'll schedule it and then welcome them here.
And of course, you can call yourself or Pat Miles and schedule a tour as well.
Yep, absolutely. So Pat, who is our sales director, or myself as the executive director, are always looking forward to hosting those that want to come in and visit the community. And they just need to give us a call at 772-337-4330.
Yep, and it's good to know you're never alone at Harbor Place.
Absolutely.
All right, and you've got a very special guest today.
Yep, so we have Cynthia Lavin from the Better Business Bureau, who's going to be here today just to share a little bit about the work that they do, the important work that they do with the Bureau, especially as it relates to businesses here in the community and far away.
That sounds good. Well, Cynthia, welcome aboard.
Good morning. Thank you for having me. Very excited.
And boy, for those watching on YouTube, this is I love the set with your BBB logo and the whole thing. That's great.
We do our best to always represent the brand wherever we go.
Well, for folks who don't know, tell us a little bit about what the BBB does.
Well, the BBB is a nonprofit organization, something that a lot of folks may not know because sometimes they think we're part of the government. We help consumers and businesses alike. So we're a neutral party that always likes to mediate between the businesses and the consumers whenever an issue arises. We promote ethics in the community with businesses, also with consumers, so that the business marketplace could be a good one for everybody that participates. We really help the consumers when it comes to filing complaints, filing reviews, providing reporting on businesses in their area, and just giving them tips on how to avoid scams and how to make the best purchases every year. Every year we have cyclical things like vacations, summer camps, Christmas shopping. Mother's Day shopping. So those are the things that we're there for, to always provide tips when it comes to shopping and when it comes to consumer interactions, and also to allow consumers to have a place where they can go and seek help when they have an issue with the business.
Well, with a ton of snow on this noggin of mine, how do you help seniors?
Well, we are always helping out seniors by being in the community and giving out presentations on things that affect seniors. I mean, scams affect everyone, not just seniors, but there are some scams that are targeted towards seniors, and it really comes down to things like financial scams, insurance scams, and contractor scams, because they're always looking to perhaps update a home that they've been in for a long time, or do some sort of repairs, or maybe change their insurance. So they have to go to a trustworthy source. And that's what we're here for, to provide trustworthy businesses where that people can go and know that they're going to have a good experience whenever they deal with them. So that's how we can help seniors, and always letting them know that in the age of digitalization, there's a lot of scams going on, and they cannot trust anybody or share their personal information with anyone that calls or comes to their door, even claiming to be a reputable business.
Katrina, do you have residents that have run into some of these bizarre scams that are out there?
Certainly, especially those that come through the cell phones, right? They offer them, hey, you can, get this medication or this service for this if you just give us your personal information, and then voila, they have everything that they need. I've even experienced where we've had residents move in that have been the subject of a scam when they were in their own home. Right, they're selling because, of course, you see the for sale sign out front, and so then you have a contractor who comes in and says, "Hey, I can help you get your house, remodeled or up to date, so that you can sell it at a higher price." Right, and so I've even had residents who have moved in and have been scammed that way. So the seniors definitely are targeted. When it comes to, just as Cynthia said, especially those contractors, people posing to be working for electric companies, cable companies, those kind of things. So,
Yeah, because I think a lot of seniors are very trusting in that regard.
absolutely. Especially, and then, not only trusting, but, some of them don't, what we experience, a lot of them don't have families that are local. And so they depend a lot on neighbors or just the kind-hearted young man that knocks on the door, right? So they trusted and they need it to happen. And here it is, voila.
That's amazing. Cynthia, are there any specific like elder scams that really kind of stick in your craw a little bit at the BBB?
Really, one of the ones that it's been happening for years, and it cycles in and out, but it continues to happen. They call it the grandparent scam, and the scammer calls, the person receives a call, and they say, "Well, I have your granddaughter or grandson here, and if you don't give me money, I'm gonna, just take them. You're never gonna see them again, and you need to go and purchase gift cards to give me that money, and then you're never going to see them." And they try to keep you on the phone, because the person's instinct, the first thing they want to do is call their grandkid or loved one or whoever the scammer is pretending to be, to verify what this person is saying. But they tell you, no, if you hang up the phone and do that, it's going to be, you're never going to see them again, and I'm going to harm them. So really just hang up the phone and call that person and verify, because this is just a scam that really, it's heinous. And just pretending to have a loved one and threatening this person that you're going to harm their loved one if you don't give them a certain amount of money. It's just one of the most vile things that we have seen when it comes to scams. And people go and purchase all of these gift cards to give to the scammer, and once they have the number to the gift cards and they clear those gift cards out, you're never going to see that money again. And law enforcement knows about the scam. We know about the scam, the Federal Trade Commission, but it's so hard to track where these scammers are coming from. A lot of times it's overseas. So if you receive calls, we really recommend people don't answer phones that they don't know. If it's a doctor's office or an appointment, try to save that phone if you can. And if you pick up and you hear something that you're not familiar with, just hang up the phone and block that number. That's the best advice we can give you. Again, do not give money or any personal information or gift cards to someone that calls you over the phone or texts you. They're just soliciting you for a scam.
Wow. That is really scary. It just is. We have a lot of, police and sheriffs through here on official access all the time. And and they talk about some of these crazy scams. And you're right. They float in and out, and it's various times of the year.
Correct. And they know that people maybe forget, keep it out of sight. And we do a lot of awareness, and perhaps they have it at the forefront of their mind now, but then a couple months down the line, they forget. Put it on your fridge. Just put it on this little paper on your fridge. Scams to remember. Don't answer the phone to strangers. Don't give them your address, your social security. We live in different times now, and unfortunately, people don't have the best interests at heart. That's why the BBB is here to provide reputable businesses and reputable companies that consumers can go to and find whatever services they need.
That's a great idea. It's something as simple as just putting a note on your refrigerator door. That works. Works for me, Katrina.
Yeah. So Cynthia, does the Better Business Bureau typically have like a listing that you give out to seniors or to anyone really, that they should, well, I shouldn't say listings, but scams to avoid? Do you have a listing of those particular scams to avoid?
The scams to avoid, again, is what we call the grandparent scam, the one that I just described, and identity theft, and contractors, unlicensed contractors that come to your door. Those are really the top three. There are things that cycle in and out throughout the year, but really the top three. And again, scammers are always after two things: personal information and money, right? So if they get your personal information, they can access your account to get money or steal your identity to get credit cards in your name or bank accounts, or if they claim to be someone they're not, they want gift cards so that they can get money. So those are really the two things that they're always after, no matter how they package it or dress it. So that's why we stress not sharing any personal information, not on social media, not via text message when someone texts you and you don't know who they are, not via email, not over a phone call. So again, be very careful with your personal information, social security, address, full name, your license, your email, all of that. Because once they have that information, these scammers are very tech savvy, and it's very easy for them to access all of your accounts and steal your identity.
I would imagine that grandparent scam is going to be big now that we have spring break, depending on where you are. Could either be this week or the following week. But the new one that I heard on our CBS News top of the hour was a scam that they can help you get your money out of SVI, which is a bank that failed in California, and move it to, either Bank of America or one of the others. And that's just amazing how that happens.
Of course, because scammers are keeping up with the news, keeping up with the trends, and they use that as an opportunity to start making those calls to people and say, I can help you. Give me your information. And they sound very trustworthy. They sound very knowledgeable, and they just keep you, and they pressure you because they tell you, if you don't do this today, this is the last opportunity you have because you can't go back and, get this offer. always just hang up the phone. Don't let anyone pressure you into anything. If someone is pressuring you, just, you know that that's a red flag. So we always advise consumers, whenever you're going to make a decision, take your time, look for 3 quotes, consult with a friend, with a family member, and then go back and make the decision. Reputable companies will wait for you, will hold the quote for X number of days. If it's an unethical business or a scammer, they're going to pressure you into signing on to whatever they want that day.
Yeah, that is amazing. Katrina, your ties to the BBB, if you will.
So, everything that we do is really just professional, and it's for our current residents and our future residents. So that's the relationship that we are building with the BBB, is to make sure that we are another resource, right? Not just in terms of senior housing, but resources for this type of potential scams that happen. So not only are we providing the meals and the activities and the transportation, but we also want to be a resource for this type of thing, that it can still happen in a senior living community where someone could potentially be scammed. So our relationship with BBB is to be more informed ourselves, and then therefore being able to have the opportunity to inform our residents and future residents.
See, and I just assumed, obviously wrongly, that the no-call list protected you, but I get more calls now than I think I ever did on my cell phone.
Yeah, Cynthia, what would you say to that with the no call list?
Well, really the no call list is for marketing companies, but this robocalls from these scammers, there's really no protection. And I mean, I know that cell phone companies have installed firewalls to really be able to identify the scam likely calls, but they still filter through. So that's why we always recommend people don't answer numbers that you're not familiar with. If it's someone that they really need to get a hold of you, like a doctor's office or some sort of appointment, they're going to leave a message. It's unfortunate that we live in a time that you can't really pick up your phone, but the more you answer the phone, these scammers put all of these numbers in what they call a robocall sort of software. So the more you answer the phone, the more they call you, because they know that they can get you once you answer the phone. So if you don't answer the phone, they'll cycle you out of their software and just keep on and move on to the next. So it's unfortunate that I know there are some firewalls through your cell phone company, but it's just not enough, because again, the scammers are very tech savvy and constantly trying to bypass those firewalls.
And I know a lot of the scammers, whether it's they claim to be with a Highway Patrol Association or various charities, it just seem to be coming out of the woodwork.
Absolutely. And one thing we advise consumers as well, if you're unsure or on who called you and who's trying to talk to you, just hang up the phone and call a number that you know. If it's a bank, call the number on your bank statement or on the back of your card and talk to someone and say, hey, are you trying to get a hold of me? I mean, most of the time you're going to find out that it's a scammer. But if you are not sure who you're talking to, do not give out information and just hang up and call a number you know, whether it's a bank, whether it's any sort of your doctor's office. If you're not sure, just make sure, check that number and call again. The Social Security will never contact you over the phone. They will always send you a letter. Same thing with the IRS. It will always be via physical mail. So any of these calls that you receive pretending to be a government agency, those are also scams.
Wow. You just have to be so careful. Katrina, I think this is so valuable that, you're bringing the BBB on, because, this is stuff we all need to know.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, currently, I know one of the bigger scams is now because it's tax season, where many are getting calls, from folks claiming to be with the IRS and wanting to get that information. So, Cynthia, one of the questions I have is, so say for instance, someone is scammed and they call your office just now after the fact, right, to get information regarding this particular business. How does that process work?
Well, if the person has been scammed and lost money, the first thing we advise them to do is file a police report, right? Because then that police report allows you to, if the person got money from your bank, then or through your debit card or credit card, you can file that report, provide that to your bank, and try to get that money back through your bank. If it's something that happened with gift cards or physical money, it's a little bit harder to get that money back if they do not know where that person is. If it's a company that perhaps has had issues and maybe there's an issue with or they have already a government action through the Attorney General's office, then it's a little bit easier because they can start to track this person, get all of their assets, and then once there's an actual decision made, you can be part of that group that gets some of their money back. But that's why we're very, very careful, and we always tell people to not give money to people they don't know in cash, in checks, and in gift cards, because it's very hard to get that money back once you give it up.
Yeah, yeah, I can imagine. Yeah.
Yeah, that's such a difficult situation because, even by filing a police report, after the fact, it's going to be very difficult for them to chase that down.
Absolutely. I know most police departments nowadays have a cyber crimes unit, but again, it's just so hard. You don't know where these people are. They're very tech savvy, as we've said before. So that's why we work a lot on awareness, right? Because you have to protect your money, your assets, your identity, and not fall for these scams. Because after the fact, even if you report to the police, if you come to us, we have a BBB scam tracker where you can report scams and alert others. But it's hard to get any of that money back once you've given it up through a gift card or maybe even through, I know people use Zelle nowadays through their bank and just send what they call peer-to-peer apps. So it's very difficult to gain that money again, especially when it's a large quantity as well. So again, protect yourself, check with the BBB website first, and then make an educated decision.
That's interesting. We bank with a large California bank, and they're going to Zelle. But we've heard that you really can't track. So if somebody mispunches a computer number, that money could just go into Never Never Land for you.
Yeah, it's very difficult. And that's why Zelle, as of maybe 1 or 2 years, they started putting, before you complete a transaction, they tell you make sure that it's going to the right person, that this is the right amount, and watch out for scams, which is a step in the right direction. It's something that they did not used to do. And then once you verify that and you accept the conditions, then the money goes through. So people have to be very careful because, again, those are another kind of way to not really track and not be able to get that money back.
And I would imagine, Katrina, you're dealing with the type of individual like myself is such a dinosaur. I still write checks, and they're few and far between because we do a lot of internet transactions. But I still write an occasional check now and then, and I would imagine a lot of your residents do too.
Sure, but again, as we go into this more technological age, right? More of our residents are learning, how to do more on their cell phones, on their tablets, the fact that they're reading on their Kindles or on their tablets. So they're exploring a little bit more. which can be a not so good thing at times, because again, the scammers, if I'm right, Cynthia, not only are they coming through the cell phone, but they're coming through our computers. And so then the resident gets that, right? They get a notification or there's something that says your account is overdrawn and you have to immediately deposit. And so as they're becoming more tech savvy, they can oftentimes fall prey to these scammers in a different way, not just via the telephone.
Absolutely. Being on the computer also, as you get more tech savvy, you're more exposed because you check your email, you see these emails that look legitimate, but there are little things that can help you see. And a lot of times you get emails from saying, oh, this bank, and sometimes you're not even subscribed to that bank. So you already know that that's a scam. There's a lot of misspellings. And then the sure way that you can realize is when you look at the email, is usually an email that can be a Gmail or a Hotmail, or it has a bunch of letters or numbers that don't really make sense. So delete that, send it to the junk. Even when you have the firewalls in your email, they still come through. So when you see something suspicious, just send it to the junk box. Something about mail and checks is another one that I wanted to touch on. When you send checks, we always advise people to go directly to the post office nowadays and drop it in the box that's in the post office. Because if you do it in these outside boxes, there's a lot of mail theft nowadays as well. And they can grab checks and look for anything that's checks on the mail and try to clear the information on the check to write a check for themselves. The only way they cannot do that is if you use a black gel pen. They cannot clear that because it almost works like a marker. But if you use just a regular ballpoint ink pen, they're able to clear that with a solution to clear ink. So again, if you do that, drop it inside the mail, inside the post office, and use a black gel pen.
Boy, that's very good information. And you know that that's really been in the news in Palm Beach area because a lot of businesses that have those outside boxes, and you do if you're in a business park, have had their boxes broken into.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
yeah, wow.
And in this industry, we do get a lot of our residents who still write checks, right? Because they believe that that is the safest way, right? Instead of having to go to the bank to pull out cash. And so we have been steadily looking to figure out various ways how one might be able to pay their rent each month, right? But the check is still so foolproof for us. It works here, but we have again our residents who are becoming more and more savvy to the technology, and so wanting to do online banking, wanting to have the bank send the check directly to the community. So paying by credit card and find oftentimes that they could be the victim of a scam through that as well.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, you just would think that if they could just put their minds to some good use. It's amazing. It's absolutely.
It's what I always say. Yeah, I'm like, these people think of all these ways. I would never think of all of these things if they would put it to good. I mean, where would we be now as a society? So it's unfortunate. That's why we work so much on awareness and educating the consumer. Everyone nowadays has to advocate for themselves and be very knowledgeable about all these issues that are out there so that they don't fall victim to scams.
Cynthia, what the scam alert that you have? How do we find that?
Okay, so it's a tool that we have that is recently it's been around for a couple of years, and we recently revamped it in partnership with Amazon and Capital One, and it's a BBB scam tracker. So you go to bbbscamtracker.org and you can search for scams in your area or you can report a scam, even if you have not lost any money, but it's a way to alert others in your community of the kind of scam that you have been exposed to. And you can see tips there. You can see all kinds of scams. You can search. And for media as well, if they're looking for something, they can submit information there and call us and get a story about the scam itself.
So it's .org, not .com.
.org, bbbscamtracker.org.
Wow, that's great. Yeah, I'll hit that as soon as we get off the show. That sounds amazing. Katrina?
Yeah. Cynthia, how often is the scam tracker updated? Is that
Every
like ongoing?
ongoing. It's actually on real time. So it's
Oh,
yeah. And
okay.
it's all with the help of the community. So the more you populate and report there, the better information we have. So it's constantly on there, and you can see the scams throughout the country. So if you hear of a friend that tells you something, you can check out for them or maybe file the report for them. And it's a great tool.
Awesome. Wow. Amazing.
Yeah, it's sad you have to do that, but I'm glad you've got it. It's amazing. Yeah, it is amazing. Wow.
Yeah. So I do have a question, Cynthia. So I know you were saying to contact the Better Business Bureau if you are unsure if a business is legit or not, or if they've had any issues in the past. So can you speak to when someone, so maybe I've had a bad experience at a business, right? A local business. Well, I'm going to contact the Better Business Bureau. Are you taking the good and the bad comments that come in? How does that weigh out with a business?
Well, we take complaints on a company, whether they're accredited with us or not. We report for the Southeast Florida businesses. So we take complaints if the person has an issue with the business. We usually take them online at bbb.org, and that's the fastest way to file a complaint and get your case going. If you want to do it in a written form, you will have to call the BBB and have a form mailed out to you where you can fill out all the information and attach receipts, pictures, any sort of proof that you have, and mail it back to us, and we put it into the system that way. Now, you can also, if you have a good experience with the business, you can leave a review, right? You can go on there and leave them a 5-star review and let the consumers know that you had a good experience with the business. So we take reviews and we take complaints. If you file a review, or you can also do a bad review on a business if that's what you feel like doing. But if you do a bad review, then you cannot file a complaint. You have to do one or the other.
I got you. Okay.
Yeah.
Good information.
Yeah. And I can give you the phone number where people can call. It
Okay.
is 561-842-1918.
Okay. Thank you.
Is there a physical office that we can visit the BBB?
We have a physical office in West Palm Beach, but since the pandemic, we've been in and out of it. We're working a hybrid schedule, so we rotate in the times that people are there. So it's always easier to go online or give us a call. People can also call for a report on a business. So if they want to know about the business and they can't see the report online because they just don't have access to the computer, or they're not really well versed with a computer, they can call, give us the name of the business, and we'll pull out a report for them and let them know the business rating, if they're accredited, and more information about the business.
So how does a business get accredited? How does that process work?
Well, the accreditation for businesses is really, they have to be a type of business that we accredit. So there are businesses that for us that we don't accredit because they're high risk businesses. But businesses have to have everything in order to apply for accreditation. They have to have their licensing if they require licensing. They have to have their insurance. They have to have a good privacy policy online if they're collecting payments and they're interacting with consumers online. The owners of the businesses have to be reputable people that don't have any issues with the law or any pending cases. They have to provide also their profit and loss statements so that we know they're a business that's not going to close without any notice to the community and take all their money and run. So they provide all that information to our compliance department. The compliance department checks that all this information is in good standing. They check the type of advertising, if it's an ethical ad for the community. And once they go through all this process, right, then they go to be looked at by our board. We have a local board of business owners and our CEO, and they get the approval. And now accreditation is not for life. We're constantly checking that you're doing the things that you need to do, and businesses do pay a fee based on how big their companies are to be able to be accredited. Once they're accredited, they are able to use our accreditation logo. They can be part of our advertising programs through Google. They can attend our events, and they can just have opportunities to interact with us and do different things through BBB.
That sounds great. Now, do the businesses have to be through the accreditation process with Sunbiz as far as the corporation through the state?
Yes, they have to be incorporated. They have to be on Sunbiz, and they have to have been operating for at least 6 months.
Sounds good. Yeah. Makes perfect sense.
Cynthia, what I know you mentioned that you do events, and so how often do you do them, and where is your targeted population? Where is your target area or areas or population that you are targeting?
Well, we do all sorts of events. I mean, we have a great, a large area to cover. We serve 11 counties in Southeast Florida. So it's from Vero Beach all the way down to the Keys, and we have the areas of Puerto Rico and USVI. So I have a person in the Treasure Coast that goes out to events. A lot of the events are business facing, but we do consumer events every quarter or so, and we're trying to up that amount a little bit more as we're getting more people, because again, we are so busy and have so many areas to cover that sometimes it can be a little bit challenging to get to everybody. So the events that are consumer focused are usually on our website, and you can go there and you'll see it on events at bbb.org. And we can go to senior centers. If you want to request that we come to your senior community or to your rec center, we can look at that and see if it's an opportunity that we can fulfill and come and give a talk on scams and preventing scams for seniors in particular.
Okay, great, great information.
Yeah. Do you need any help in your Virgin Islands office?
We have not been able to make it down there. Unfortunately, we've made it down to Puerto Rico, but the islands have their own unique set of challenges, right? So we are there to provide assistance as needed, but there's so many great groups that we're constantly giving them information to pass around and to let the community know. But they face so many economic challenges when it comes to the hurricanes and different things and it's been a little bit of a challenge to get the community there as involved with our BBB.
Well, and you mentioned hurricanes. I mean, just the hurricanes we had this year, my goodness, going down with IRSC's basketball teams at Fort Myers. And, once you hit the Peace River, you start seeing hurricane damage, and it is still very prominent there throughout that whole area.
Yes. Hurricanes, we do a lot of awareness around hurricane season because that brings also its own set of unlicensed contractors that want to come to your door and say, hey, I can install windows for a fraction of the price, but they don't have the licensing to do this. I see something on your roof. I can change out your roof. Do not fall for people that come to your door. People should not be coming to your door to offer you anything. And this is something you see more in senior communities, people going door to door. So again, be prepared when it comes to hurricanes, have your kit. What we advise people to do is before any hurricane season even starts, find the contractors that you might need. So landscapers to clear out debris, roofers, water restoration, and find these people and have a little printed list with their numbers already and have that handy, put it in your hurricane kit. And once the hurricane happens, hopefully we don't have any, you can call these people and reach out to them without having to scramble or look up. It's people that you already pre-vetted before anything happened. So if you have that handy, if there's any damage to your property, you can reach out to them to those numbers that you've already looked.
Good idea. Wow, really good idea. But that would be something. So now, if looking at specifically Harbor Place, would you go and have face-to-face meetings with the residents at Harbor Place?
Absolutely. If it's something we can put in our calendar, and definitely I'll have one of our BBB ambassadors go there. If I'm available, I will go there and do a presentation on common scams and how to avoid them. We are always happy to be out in the community.
Yeah, I was thinking about that, Cynthia, just saying that. So today we had AARP here open to the community to come in and learn about defense driving. And so those are the type of organizations. And although it was for, we were targeting some of our outside guests, certainly many of our residents still drive, so it gave them an opportunity to be able to learn some of those tips while they're out there on the road driving. But just those type of organizations coming in and providing, necessary, important information to our residents is priceless. And so certainly would love to schedule a time for you to come into the community so that our residents can be a little bit more knowledgeable about some of those more popular scams and during the particular seasons, right, that they may experience those. So certainly would love to be able to partner with you and offer that to our residents and to our future residents.
Absolutely. It will be our pleasure.
Boy, that sounds great. And again, give your website information and the tracker information as well.
Our website is bbb.org and bbbscamtracker.org.
Yeah, I've got to hit that scam tracker right away. There's no doubt about that. I really want to see what you guys have got going up there. Katrina, what's happening at Harbor Place? I mean, what kind of events have you got going the next week or 2 weeks?
So this week we have a couple of events. So one of the things that we're targeting this particular week is we have our annual spring career fair where we are meeting those that may be looking for a job, love working with seniors in the community type setting. So anywhere from LPNs to servers to housekeeping to maintenance. If you have any of those, if you possess any of those skills, looking to serve our senior population and just have a real good time, that will happen on this Thursday, March the 16th, from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. right here at the community. You can just show up. So our address is 3700 Jennings Road, or either give us a call with directions 772-337-4330. And then on Saturday, we are doing our taste and tour where someone wanting to just see the community and learn more about the services and the amenities that we offer will be able to come in for a brunch style meal and do a tour from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m.
Sounds great. So that's going to be this Saturday.
This Saturday, yes.
Good. That's marvelous. But the job fair, are you looking mostly for like a nursing area?
So mostly in for our assisted living community. So hiring LPNs, CNAs, medication technicians, and then of course some of the other areas again for dining and housekeeping, laundry, and maintenance.
Okay, what is a medication technician?
So that is a that is a person who has been well, they've trained and been certified as a medication tech to assist our residents who reside in assisted living with their medications.
Okay, makes sense.
Yeah,
Yeah, because a lot of them do take a lot of meds. So yeah, that
absolutely.
does make sense. And then Saturday is going to be the kind of an open house type.
Yeah,
11 to 1, you say?
11 a.m. to 1 p.m., where you can come and experience the community and the serve and learn more about the services and the amenities that we have to offer, and then enjoy a delicious brunch.
So Cynthia, what's new at the BBB? Is there anything really new going on with you guys?
Well, right now, just really trying to get our calendar together so we can go out to the community a little bit more and not just do business focused events. This year, we're really heavily going to be out there with our own events because in the past couple of years, again, with COVID and different strains of COVID, it's presented a challenge. So I think we're finally ready to start being out there again safely. So be on the lookout for events on our website, and we want to educate both consumers and businesses.
That sounds great. And yeah, I could see Katrina writing things down here. She wants to schedule you in at Harbor Place.
Absolutely. This has been some valuable information. Not only I see this for our residents, but for our associates, our employees, some of our families as well. So I'm anxious to really be able to have you come out, Cynthia, or one of the ambassadors to come out and share more with our residents, our families, and our associates.
Absolutely. It will be our pleasure.
Well, in that you just brought up a new wrinkle as well, because what Cynthia is talking about really does affect all of your employees as well. I mean, we're all affected by this, so that would be a phenomenal opportunity for your Harbor Place employees as well.
Absolutely. Yeah. So I'm excited. I've learned a lot today.
Oh yeah, no doubt about it. Yeah, Cynthia, you are a wealth of information. There's no doubt about it.
Thank you so much.
Well, and once again, this week, you've got two big events this week at Harbor Place, right,
Yep.
Katrina?
So our job fair, our career fair, this Thursday from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. And then our taste and tour with a brunch in a brunch type setting from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. this Saturday.
And of course, just give Ms. Pat a call if you want to schedule a tour.
Sure, or just call the community, 337-4330. Our concierge will answer. They'll get their name and number, and we'll be happy to host you here on Saturday. Or if you're looking for a job, come join us on Thursday evening from 4 to 6.
That sounds good. And maybe I can get a second job there, huh? You never know.
I tell you, it is rewarding. You learn the experience alone is great. To be able to interact with our seniors each and every day, learning a little bit more about their lifestyles and their families, you can't beat it.
And you've got a very special place. I mean, there's no doubt about it. It is the gem here on the Treasure Coast.
Absolutely. Just as you said, you're never alone at Harbor Place.
Yep, there you go. It doesn't get any better than that. Let's look out a couple more weeks. Anything else planned at Harbor Place?
Right now, those are the things we have. April promises to be a little bit more busier as we go into more of the springtime. We'll be doing some intergenerational programs and activities with some of our um, preschoolers, kindergarten, middle school, and high school. So we'll be doing some of those in April. And then, of course, as we ramp up towards the summer, offering some of those other events that will be happening. So we're excited right now.
So that's the stuff that you lost because of COVID.
Because of COVID, yes. But like I said, because we have begun to relax a lot of those protocols that we had put in place, we're certainly able now to welcome more of the community and our families and our future families into the community to enjoy some of the activities, host meetings, and just have a good time here at Harbor Place.
That sounds great. Well, ladies, thank you so much. Katrina, as always, thank you. And Cynthia, tremendous information on the BBB. And your websites again for the scam tracker and for your regular website.
bbb.org and bbbscamtracker.org.
All right, perfect. All right, have a good day, ladies.
All right,
Thank
bye.
you.
Talk soon,
Bye.
Cynthia.
You've been listening to Never Alone on WPSL. Discover a luxurious lifestyle. Discover Harbor Place in Port St. Lucie, offering the finest in independent and assisted living. Do you want to spend your golden years maintaining a home, cleaning a house? Not at Harbor Place. The experienced staff at Harbor Place takes care of everything so you can enjoy all that the community has to offer. Call 772-337-4330 for a tour of the gem of senior living on the Treasure Coast. Are you or your parents swimmers? Enjoy the beautiful outdoor pool. After your swim, enjoy fine dining with your friends. And don't forget to explore the Treasure Coast, from hiking trails to numerous golf courses. Active seniors enjoy Harbor Place. You can join them too. 337-4330. Harbor Place, and welcome home.
This is WPSL Port St. Lucie, the talk of the Treasure Coast.